The world of One Piece is filled with powerful warriors, legendary pirates, and mythical beings, each possessing unique abilities and strengths that set them apart. However, in contrast to the strongest fighters, there exist weaker characters whose abilities, skills, and overall presence in battle leave much to be desired. While many fans debate who the strongest character in the series is, an equally interesting question emerges: who would be the absolute weakest? The goal of this analysis is to create the weakest possible character in the One Piece universe by combining the worst traits from different characters across 9 key categories. These categories include Devil Fruit ability, speed, intelligence, durability, physical strength, combat skills, haki, race, and weapon choice. By carefully selecting the weakest attributes in each category, we can construct a character who would stand no chance in battle, struggle to survive in the vast world of One Piece, and ultimately serve as the most ineffective fighter imaginable. This concept requires an in-depth look at some of the least capable characters in the series. While many characters have flaws in specific areas, our objective is to create a character that is universally weak in every possible way. Unlike the traditional weak characters who may still have redeeming qualities, such as Usopp's cleverness or Buggy's unexpected luck, this character will lack any significant strengths or advantages. To begin crafting the weakest One Piece character, the first category we must examine is arguably the most defining trait of many fighters in the series: their Devil Fruit ability. The right Devil Fruit can grant extraordinary power, but the wrong one can be completely useless or even detrimental. To ensure that our character is as ineffective as possible, we must choose the absolute worst Devil Fruit in the series. In the One Piece world, Devil Fruits grant their users special abilities in exchange for their ability to swim. Some of these fruits provide overwhelming powers, such as the Gura Gura no Mi, which allows its user to create devastating earthquakes, or the Ope Ope no Mi, which grants reality-warping surgical abilities. However, not all Devil Fruits are created equal. Some are laughably weak, have no practical combat application, or even cause more harm than good. When searching for the weakest possible Devil Fruit, several options come to mind. Some fruits, while unique, offer almost no advantage in battle. For instance, Kinemon's Fuku Fuku no Mi allows him to create disguises, but it has no offensive or defensive capabilities. Another example is the Jacket Jacket no Mi, which lets the user become a living jacket that someone else can wear. While it sounds mildly interesting, its effectiveness depends entirely on another person choosing to wear the user, making it a highly impractical ability in most situations. However, even these fruits pale in comparison to the worst one of all, a failed Smile Fruit. Smile Fruits are artificial devil fruits created by Caesar Clown and financed by Don Quixote do Flamingo. Unlike natural devil fruits, which grant unique powers to their users, Smile Fruits come with significant drawbacks. They were developed to give Zoan-type transformations, allowing people to gain animal-based abilities. However, Smile Fruits have a catastrophic failure rate. Only about 10% of those who consume them gain actual powers. The remaining 90% receive no ability at all. For most characters in One Piece, having no Devil Fruit ability is often better than having a bad one. Many of the strongest characters in the series, such as Mihawk, Garp, and Shanks, have never consumed a Devil Fruit, relying instead on their sheer combat prowess and skill. However, failed Smile Fruit users suffer from something even worse than simply not gaining an ability. They are cursed with an irreversible side effect. The most devastating aspect of a failed Smile Fruit is its emotional side effect. Those who consume one and fail to gain powers lose the ability to express negative emotions, including sadness, fear, or frustration. Instead, they are permanently forced to smile or laugh, regardless of the circumstances. This affliction is particularly cruel because it prevents individuals from reacting naturally to distressing situations. A character afflicted with this inability to express emotions would be at a severe disadvantage in almost every scenario. In battle, fear and caution can be crucial survival mechanisms, allowing a fighter to assess threats and react appropriately. A character who is constantly grinning and unable to show distress would be easy to misinterpret. They might appear confident or unfazed, leading opponents to underestimate their vulnerability. However, in reality, their inability to express fear would make them incapable of effectively reacting to danger. Moreover, outside of battle, This condition would create social difficulties. The inability to express sadness would make it impossible to connect with others on an emotional level. A character who is constantly laughing, even in moments of great loss or hardship, would struggle to form meaningful relationships, as they would appear detached or uncaring. This curse also eliminates one of the most basic human reactions, the ability to cry. Tears are a natural response to pain, grief, or overwhelming emotions, and being unable to cry means that the character would be unable to express sorrow even in the face of personal tragedy. This could create additional psychological burdens, as they would be internally suffering while externally forced to smile. The biggest problem with a failed smile fruit is that it offers no combat advantage whatsoever. Many devil fruits, even if not particularly strong, still have some form of practical application. For example, the bubble fruit allows the user to produce soap bubbles, which, while not an offensive power, can still be used creatively. In contrast, a failed smile fruit does absolutely nothing beneficial. It provides no increased strength, no enhanced abilities, and no strategic advantage. Instead, it actively makes life worse for the user by stripping them of the ability to react naturally to their surroundings. Even compared to other weak devil fruits, a failed smile fruit remains at the bottom. The human fruit, when eaten by a human, does nothing, but at least it has no negative effects. The jacket fruit requires another person's cooperation, but at least it theoretically allows for a moment of control if someone does wear the user. A failed smile fruit, on the other hand, guarantees that the user has nothing but a permanent, forced expression that hinders them in every possible way. To make matters worse, some failed smile users in One Piece also develop bizarre physical transformations. Some have ended up with animal features that serve no real purpose, such as a lion's face growing out of their stomach. These transformations do not grant extra strength or agility and instead only make the user look strange while offering no benefit. If our weakest character were to suffer from this as well, they might end up with a random, useless animal body part attached to them, making them an even bigger target for ridicule and disadvantage. By giving our weakest character a failed smile fruit, we ensure that they have no special powers and are permanently handicapped by an irreversible emotional curse. Not only do they lack any useful combat abilities, but they also suffer from an involuntary reaction that prevents them from experiencing emotions properly. This places them at a severe disadvantage, both in battle and in social interactions, ensuring that they are among the most ineffective individuals in the entire One Piece universe. With the first trait of our character determined, we have laid the foundation for the absolute weakest One Piece character. However, this is only the beginning. To complete this character, we must continue selecting the weakest possible attributes across multiple categories, ensuring that every aspect of their existence is as ineffective as possible. The next step is to determine their speed, intelligence, durability, and overall combat ability, all of which will contribute to making them the most powerless individual in the world of One Piece. Speed is one of the most crucial factors in a battle within the One Piece universe. The fastest characters can dodge attacks, launch quick counterattacks, and move across battlefields effortlessly. Fighters like Kizaru, with his light-speed movement, or Sanji, with his rapid kicks, demonstrate how speed can be the deciding factor between victory and defeat. However, just as there are incredibly fast characters, there are also those who are painfully slow, unable to react in time or move efficiently. For our goal of creating the weakest character in One Piece, we must choose the absolute slowest individual. This character must not only be physically slow but also react poorly in combat situations. There are several slow-moving characters in the series, but the worst of them all is Kumadori from CP9. Kumadori, a former agent of Cypher Paul 9, CP9, stands out as the slowest character in One Piece for several reasons. CP9 is an elite group of government assassins trained in the deadly martial art known as Rokushiki, which enhances their combat abilities. However, despite this training, Kumadori is still remarkably slow, both in movement and reaction time. One of the main reasons for his slowness is his excessive theatricality. Kumadori enjoys dramatic speeches and long, exaggerated monologues that often delay his attacks. While other CP9 agents like Lucci and Koku prioritize efficiency and speed in battle, Kumadori wastes valuable time reciting poetry or lamenting his failures. These long-winded speeches not only make him an easy target but also prevent him from effectively responding to his opponents. His physical movements are just as sluggish. Unlike other CP9 agents, who utilize techniques like Soru to move at incredible speeds, Kumadori takes his time when launching attacks. This was most evident during his fight against Chopper in Enies Lobby, where his slow movements allowed Chopper to land several hits. At one point, Chopper even trapped him inside a refrigerator, and despite being given the opportunity to escape, Kumadori was too slow to act in time. One of the key aspects of speed is reaction time, the ability to recognize an incoming attack and respond accordingly. Kumadori fails miserably in this regard. His exaggerated movements and delayed speech patterns make it difficult for him to adapt to fast-paced fights. Against quicker opponents, he often struggles to keep up, allowing them to land blows before he can react. For example, in his battle with Chopper, Kumadori repeatedly found himself unable to respond to sudden attacks. Even when he was aware of Chopper's movements, he was too slow to defend himself. In a world where fighters rely on split-second decisions, Kumadori's inability to react quickly makes him one of the least effective combatants in One Piece. By giving our weakest character Kumadori's speed, we ensure that they will be at a severe disadvantage in any battle. Whether they are being attacked or simply trying to move across a battlefield, their sluggish nature will prevent them from keeping up with even the most basic opponents. Intelligence plays a major role in survival, strategy, and decision-making within the One Piece world. While raw strength and abilities are important, intelligence often determines how well a character can navigate battles, form alliances, and react to unexpected situations. Some of the most dangerous individuals in the series, such as Trafalgar Law and Nico Robin, rely heavily on their intellect rather than brute strength. Conversely, some characters struggle with even the simplest of tasks due to their lack of intelligence. When determining the weakest character, we must select the most clueless, absent-minded individual in the series. While several characters are known for their poor decision-making, none compare to Gidatsu, whose lack of awareness makes him the most unintelligent character in One Piece. Gidatsu, a former priest of Skypia's upper yard, is notorious for his absent-mindedness. Unlike other characters who lack intelligence but still function in battle, Gidatsu struggles with even the most basic aspects of daily life. His lack of awareness is so severe that he frequently forgets how to do simple tasks that most people take for granted. One of his most well-known habits is forgetting to open his eyes. He often rolls his eyes back so far that he appears unconscious, making it difficult for him to see what is happening around him. This lack of vision obviously puts him at a major disadvantage, as he cannot properly assess threats or react to incoming attacks. However, his forgetfulness goes beyond just his vision. Gidatsu has also been known to forget to breathe, eat properly, or even speak coherently. There have been multiple occasions where he attempted to give commands but failed to open his mouth, resulting in complete silence. These absent-minded tendencies make him an extremely ineffective leader and a terrible combatant in combat. Intelligence is often the difference between victory and defeat. Fighters who can strategize and adapt to their opponents tend to have the upper hand. Gidatsu, however, lacks any real tactical awareness, making his battle style completely ineffective. During his fight against Chopper in Skypiea, Gidatsu made several comically bad decisions that ultimately led to his downfall. He frequently lost track of what he was doing mid-fight, pausing to correct his own mistakes instead of focusing on the battle. At one point, he even sank into a swamp created by his own ability, completely forgetting that he had placed it there. His ability to make poor decisions extends beyond combat as well. In one of the funniest moments of the Skypiea arc, Gidatsu falls from the sky and ends up in Alabasta. Instead of trying to find his way back, he becomes a construction worker, seemingly forgetting his original purpose altogether. This complete lack of focus makes him an unreliable and ineffective character in every aspect of life. While One Piece has several characters with questionable intelligence, Gidatsu surpasses them all in sheer lack of awareness. Luffy is often seen as reckless and unintelligent, but his combat instincts and creativity make up for it. He can think on his feet in battle and has repeatedly outsmarted opponents despite his carefree nature. Edward Weevil, the self-proclaimed son of Whitebeard, lacks intelligence and common sense, relying entirely on his mother for guidance. However, His sheer strength makes up for his lack of awareness. Spandam, a former leader of CP9, makes terrible strategic decisions, such as accidentally initiating the destruction of Enies lobby. However, even he possesses more awareness than Gedatsu, as he at least understands basic human functions. Gedatsu's level of cluelessness is unmatched. His inability to process even the simplest information makes him the weakest possible choice in terms of intelligence. To be why giving our weakest character Kumadori's speed and Gedatsu's intelligence, we have ensured that they will be at an extreme disadvantage in every situation. Their slow movement will make them an easy target, unable to dodge attacks or escape danger. Their poor reaction time means they will always be a step behind in battle, failing to defend themselves effectively. Their lack of awareness will prevent them from making smart choices, both in combat and in daily life. They will forget essential tasks, such as breathing, eating, or speaking properly, making basic survival a challenge. This combination of traits ensures that our weakest One Piece character is not only ineffective in battle but also unable to function in the world. With slow movement and no ability to think critically, they will be entirely reliant on others for survival. With Kumadori's speed and Gedatsu's intelligence added to the mix, our weakest One Piece character is starting to take form. Their lack of mobility makes them an easy target, while their absent-minded nature makes them completely unreliable. Even in a world where strength and abilities vary greatly, this character would stand no chance in any scenario. Moving forward, we must continue selecting the weakest possible attributes for the remaining categories, further ensuring that our character is as ineffective as possible in every way. The next step is to determine their durability, physical strength, and combat skills, elements that will further cement their position as the weakest individual in the One Piece universe. Durability is one of the most critical aspects of survival in the One Piece universe. Some characters can withstand tremendous damage, shrug off powerful attacks, and continue fighting despite overwhelming odds. The strongest fighters, such as Kaido and Big Mom, have near-impenetrable bodies that make them almost invincible. However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, some characters are so fragile that even minor incidents can incapacitate them. When selecting the weakest durability for our weakest One Piece character, we must find someone who cannot endure even the slightest pressure. Many fragile characters exist, but the absolute weakest in terms of durability is Sugar, a high-ranking member of the Don Quixote pirates. Sugar is a member of the Don Quixote family, serving under the infamous warlord Don Quixote Doflamingo. She possesses the Hobi Hobi no Mi, a devil fruit that allows her to turn people into toys with a simple touch. Once someone is transformed, their existence is erased from the memories of everyone who knew them, making her ability one of the most terrifying in the series. Despite her powerful ability, Sugar is remarkably fragile. Unlike other high-ranking members of the Don Quixote pirates, she lacks any real combat strength or endurance. While characters like Pika and Trebol have physical durability that allows them to take hits and continue fighting, Sugar is incredibly vulnerable. Sugar's biggest weakness is that she is easily overwhelmed, both physically and mentally. While most fighters in One Piece endure multiple attacks before falling, Sugar was defeated without even being touched. During the Dressrosa arc, Usopp played a key role in taking her down. Instead of fighting her in direct combat, Usopp used psychological tactics to incapacitate her. He created a terrifying expression that startled Sugar so much that she instantly lost consciousness. This moment became one of the most comically shocking defeats in the series, as Sugar was taken down without a single attack being thrown. This means that Sugar's durability is so low that simply being scared is enough to defeat her. Unlike other characters who might be physically weak but can still endure some level of damage, Sugar's body and mind are so fragile that she cannot even handle moments of shock. There are several other characters in One Piece known for their lack of durability, but none compare to Sugar. Usopp. While Usopp is not the most durable character, he has survived multiple direct attacks from powerful enemies. He has taken beatings from stronger foes and continued fighting, proving he has at least some level of resilience. Buggy the Clown is often portrayed as weak, but his Bara Bara no Mi, Chop Chop fruit, makes him immune to certain attacks. Despite his cowardly nature, he has managed to endure many dangerous situations. Nami avoids combat whenever possible, but when forced into a fight, she has taken direct hits and continued on. Her durability may be low, but she is far from the weakest in the series. Sugar stands out as the weakest in durability because she was defeated in the most absurd and effortless way possible. No other character in the series has been incapacitated simply by being startled, making her the perfect candidate for the weakest durability. By giving our weakest character Sugar's durability, we ensure that they will be at a severe disadvantage. They will be unable to withstand any form of attack, and even minor surprises or stress could cause them to faint on the spot. This makes them completely unreliable in battle, as they would collapse before a fight even begins. Physical strength is one of the most defining traits of the powerful characters in One Piece. Some characters rely on sheer brute force to overpower their enemies, such as Kaido, who can destroy entire landscapes with a single swing of his club, or Whitebeard, who could shake the very earth with his fists. Strength can often compensate for a lack of speed or intelligence, making it an invaluable asset in combat. However, some characters are astonishingly weak when it comes to physical strength. While many characters lack fighting skills, the weakest of them all is Spandam, whose official power level is even lower than that of an average Marine soldier. Spandam is the former leader of CP9, the secret government organization responsible for carrying out high-level missions. Despite being in charge of some of the most dangerous assassins in the world, Spandam himself is completely incapable of fighting. Unlike his subordinates, who trained extensively in martial arts and Rokushiki techniques, Spandam lacks any real combat ability. While CP9 members like Rob Lucci and Koku are among the most powerful government agents, Spandam is entirely reliant on his position and authority rather than his own strength. His weakness is so extreme that he cannot even lift a proper weapon without difficulty. In the One Piece world, power levels are sometimes used to gauge the strength of different fighters. During the Enies Lobby arc, Spandam's strength level was revealed to be 9. For comparison, Koku's strength level, 2,200. Rob Lucci's strength level, 4,000. Average Marine soldier, at least 10. This means that Spandam is physically weaker than a standard Marine recruit. He is not only incapable of fighting trained warriors but also weaker than the lowest-ranking foot soldiers in the Navy. One of the most embarrassing moments for Spandam occurred when he attempted to wield Funkfried, his sword that had consumed the Zuzu no Mi, an elephant zoan-type devil fruit. While most swordsmen can wield their weapons effortlessly, Spandam struggled to control Funkfried due to his complete lack of physical strength. In several moments throughout the Enies Lobby arc, Spandam was seen fumbling with his own weapon, unable to wield it properly. This further cemented his status as one of the weakest individuals in the series. There are other characters in One Piece who lack physical strength, but none are as weak as Spandam. Celestial dragons, while they are physically weak, their strength comes from their political power rather than their combat abilities. However, even the weakest celestial dragon can still fire a gun, something Spandam struggles with. Kaya, the wealthy girl from Syrup Village, was described as physically weak due to an illness. However, her lack of strength is due to medical reasons, whereas Spandam is simply weak by nature. Buggy may not be physically powerful, but he has at least shown some ability to fight. Spandam, on the other hand, has never been able to successfully land an attack on an opponent. Spandam's complete lack of strength makes him the perfect candidate for our weakest character. If we assign him as the physical base for our character, we ensure that they will be completely incapable of fighting back against even the weakest of enemies. By combining Sugar's durability and Spandam's strength, we have created a character who is not only physically weak but also completely incapable of withstanding any form of attack. Their body is so fragile that even minor surprises or sudden movements could cause them to collapse. They are incapable of defending themselves because their physical strength is lower than that of an average soldier. They will not be able to fight back, as they lack the ability to land a meaningful attack on any opponent. This means that even in the most basic fight, our weakest character would be instantly defeated. A single tap could incapacitate them, and they would lack the strength to even push their opponent away. With Sugar's durability and Spandam's strength, our weakest One Piece character is now taking shape as the most ineffective individual in the series. They will collapse at the slightest shock. They will be physically weaker than even the lowest-ranked Marine soldiers. They will have no means of defending themselves in combat. As we continue constructing this character, the next step will be selecting the worst combat skills, the weakest race, and the most ineffective weapon choice, further cementing their place as the most powerless individual in One Piece. Creating the weakest One Piece character requires selecting the worst possible traits in every category. So far, we have established that this character will possess a failed smile fruit, granting no power while forcing constant laughter, Kumadori's slow movement, Gadatsu's absent-mindedness, Sugar's extreme fragility, and Spandam's complete lack of physical strength. These traits alone would make survival in the One Piece world nearly impossible. However, to finalize the weakest possible character, we must select the worst race and weapon, ensuring that even the most basic survival tasks become a challenge. In the One Piece universe, race plays an important role in determining a character's natural abilities. Some races have enhanced physical capabilities, such as the towering strength of giants or the agility of minks. Others, like Lunarians, possess nearly indestructible bodies. However, some races are at a severe disadvantage in certain environments. The worst possible race for our weakest character is that of a young merfolk, specifically before they turn 30. Merfolk are aquatic beings that resemble humans from the waist up but have fish-like tails instead of legs. While they are incredibly agile in water, they face one critical weakness on land. Merfolk cannot walk until they turn 30. Unlike fishmen, who possess human-like legs, merfolk rely entirely on their tails to move. This means that before reaching maturity, they are completely helpless on land. They must rely on crawling or flopping. Since they cannot stand or walk, young merfolk can only move by dragging themselves or flopping like a fish. This makes them incredibly slow and vulnerable. They are completely dependent on water. Unlike humans, merfolk require access to water to move efficiently. Without it, they are rendered almost immobile. For a character who already has Kumadori's slowness, this racial disadvantage makes movement nearly impossible. If this character were ever caught in battle, they would have no means of escape or self-defense. While other races can at least attempt to run away, a young merfolk would be stuck, making them an easy target. While several races in One Piece have their own weaknesses, none are as limiting as young merfolk. Humans, the most common race in the series, humans are physically weaker than fishmen and giants but still possess normal movement and survival abilities. Dwarfs, Tontata tribe. Although small, dwarfs are incredibly strong and fast, making them a bad choice for the weakest character. Celestial dragons. Despite their incompetence, celestial dragons can still walk, making them more mobile than young merfolk. Torino Kingdom residents. These small, bird-like people are weak, but they still have functioning legs and can move independently. Since young merfolk cannot walk, run, or even move efficiently on land, choosing this race ensures that our weakest character will be completely immobile outside of water, making them vulnerable to any opponent. Epons play a crucial role in combat, with the strongest characters in One Piece wielding legendary weapons like Mihawk's Yoru or Whitebeard's Mirakumo. A powerful weapon can turn the tide of battle, but a bad weapon can be utterly useless. The worst possible weapon for our weakest character is Usopp's 10-ton hammer, a deceptive tool that is completely ineffective in real combat. During the Enies Lobby arc, Usopp used a weapon called the 10-ton hammer against Perona. This weapon looked massive and intimidating, seemingly capable of dealing devastating damage. However, there was one major problem. It was a fake. The 10-ton hammer was actually a balloon attached to a stick, designed to fool enemies into thinking it was a real weapon. It had no actual impact. Since the hammer was nothing more than a prop, it popped upon contact with an opponent, dealing no damage whatsoever. It relied entirely on deception. While it managed to scare some weaker enemies, any competent fighter would immediately recognize that the weapon was a trick. For a character who is already physically weak, Spandam's strength level is lower than an average marine soldier. A useless weapon only adds to their helplessness. Unlike other joke weapons, such as Buggy's knives or Usopp's slingshots, the 10-ton hammer offers no offensive or defensive benefits. This means that our weakest character cannot deal any damage. If they attempt to swing the hammer, it will simply pop, revealing itself as fake. Cannot defend themselves. Unlike a sword or shield, this weapon offers no protection from attacks. Cannot intimidate real opponents. While it might work as a bluff against low-level enemies, anyone with even basic intelligence would immediately see through it. Several weapons in One Piece are considered weak or impractical, but none match the uselessness of the 10-ton hammer. Usopp's pre-time skip slingshot. While not very powerful, it at least had some functional use in battle. Sabo's pipe. A simple metal pipe is weak compared to a sword, but it can still be used to attack. Virgo's bamboo stick. A bamboo stick is unconventional, but Virgo was still able to use it effectively. By selecting Usopp's fake hammer as the weapon for our weakest character, we ensure that they have zero offensive ability, making them completely ineffective in any fight. With all traits selected, we can now finalize the weakest possible character in One Piece. This character possesses the absolute worst attributes in every category, making them completely incapable of survival or combat. Devil Fruit, Failed Smile Fruit. Grants no powers and forces the character to laugh uncontrollably, making them incapable of reacting properly in serious situations. Speed, Kumadori's slow movement. Moves and reacts painfully slowly, making dodging attacks or escaping impossible. Intelligence, Gadatsu's absent-mindedness. Constantly forgets to breathe, talk, or even function normally, making basic survival a challenge. Durability, Sugar's fragility. Can lose consciousness from being startled, making them incapable of handling pressure. Strength, Spandam's weakness. Physically weaker than an average Marine recruit, unable to lift or use weapons effectively. Race, Young Merfolk. Cannot walk on land until age 30, making them immobile in most environments. Weapon, Usopp's 10-ton hammer. A fake weapon that pops on contact, offering no offensive or defensive value. They cannot fight. With no strength, a useless weapon, and extreme fragility, they would lose any battle instantly. They cannot move effectively. Being both slow and incapable of walking, they would be completely defenseless. They cannot react properly. Lacking intelligence and forced to smile uncontrollably, they would be unable to take anything seriously. They cannot endure hardship. The slightest scare could make them lose consciousness, and they have no means of withstanding attacks. This character is not only the weakest in One Piece but arguably one of the weakest characters in any anime. Their complete lack of ability ensures that they would fail in even the simplest tasks, making them an easy target for even the weakest enemies. By carefully selecting the worst possible traits from across the One Piece universe, we have created a character who is entirely ineffective. Whether in combat, survival, or even daily life, they would struggle at every turn. This character embodies the ultimate failure in the world of One Piece, unable to fight, move, think, or survive on their own. Even in a world filled with powerful pirates, marines, and revolutionaries, they would stand out as the weakest of them all.